Hello Internet, Chris Klein here with Alma Music Center in San Antonio, Texas, and today we're going to look at the latest addition to Korg's Volca line, the Volca Nubass. We are super stoked about this. I have been playing with it nonstop now we've had them in for a day, so I've been digging in for quite a bit. And this thing is going to give a lot of other bass synthesizers and bass emulators, 303 emulators, things of that nature, a run for their money because this is totally killer. Now, you might remember the Volca bass. Well, the Nubass actually has a couple of tubes in it. It's the Nutube technology that Korg has developed, and you have a tube that's attached to the primary oscillator, and then you have another Nutube that is attached to the sub-oscillator, which will allow you to saturate it, so you can get some really, really great tones, better harmonics, richer content coming out of this bass device here, this bass synthesizer. It is an analog bass synthesizer. And like all the other Volcas, it conforms to the Volca standard. You can see that the size is exactly the same. We have our power switch, and of course I have a power supply or a wall wart plugged in, but it will take batteries, MIDI in, sync in and out. So it's just like pretty much all the other Volcas, minus the Volca modular, which lost the MIDI in, but of course there are ways around that, but we're not going to get into that today. Before we dive into all the functions of the Nubass, let's talk about the sound of the Nubass and what's happening underneath the hood. Now, we have our main oscillator and a sub-oscillator, and the main oscillator can be switched between a sawtooth and a pulse wave. Here's what the sawtooth sounds like. Now, of course, we can apply the filter to it, the cutoff. Now let's go ahead and bring our peak or our resonance up. I'm going to bring it up here to, we will just call this 75%. Is that taking you back yet? Now let's listen to the pulse wave. And again, let's bring our peak or our resonance up. Let's bring it up a little bit higher this time. We'll call this 80%. So it is a ladder filter, and if we bring it all the way up, it really starts to sing for us, right? Now what happens if we start bringing up our saturation? So let's go ahead and go back to our sawtooth. And let's bring it the sub-oscillator. And now let's start bringing back our cutoff again. It's really killer. And let's bring up our drive over here. So we have a drive circuit on the output. Now it's really starting to get gnarly. Let's bring our peak back a little bit. How about that? It sounds so killer. And if you were to A/B this against a 303, you are going to be exceptionally pleased with the results that you're going to get out of the Nubass. All right, so let's talk about the sequencer. Now, I already have something that's sequenced in here, so I'm going to go ahead and fire it up. I'm just going to hit play. Bring the tempo up. we can also further adjust the tone. So it's pretty bright right now. We can really hear it cut, but we can actually go the other way and make it darker. Now we can also bring up our drive. Now we can really hear it start to break up. And start to get super squelchy as well. Let's bring our peak up. Now we can also manipulate our attack. Now we bring our decay back. Now we can also adjust the pitch right here as well. So we're an octave up and an octave down, and now it's really getting bubbly and starting to percolate a little bit. Let's go ahead and bring it back up. There we go. Now, if we want to manipulate other parameters of the sequencer, well, that's pretty simple too. So we're going to go ahead and press play. And so right here, these three lights, these are the only notes that I played in this sequence, right? But you can hear it jumping or transposing an octave up. So if I press the transpose key right here, the transpose button, we can see what notes have been transposed. And I can go ahead and change that, or the steps, excuse me, that have been transposed. So we can go ahead and turn all these off. And let's go ahead and transpose a couple of random notes here. So remember, it's just jumping up an octave. Now what about our accents? All we have to do is press the accent button, and we can see what's accented right now currently. Now this knob that I just manipulated controls the level of the accent. I've got it turned all the way up right now. Bring it back. Now we can randomize the accents by pressing the function key and pressing randomize. And then it changes where the accents are following. We can also do that with the transpose button. And last but not least, slides, where our notes are tied together, and this is really important for that classic acid type of sound. Let's go ahead and tie a couple more together. I can also randomize that. Ooh, right there at the end. Oh yeah, it's super growly. Now we can also swing the sequencer, excuse me. So by pressing the function key and then turning the tempo knob, So it's an incredibly powerful bass device. It could also be your lead synth as well. It's up to you as to how you want to use it, but the designers had that classic growly acid bass tone in mind when they put this newest Volca together, and they really knocked it out of the park. I am super impressed, and I'm actually going to buy one today. As this is my demo unit, and I'm going to buy it because it is so much fun, and I can't wait to actually start incorporating it into sessions of my own. So that is the Volca Nubass. We covered quite a bit of ground on here, actually. There's a little more that we could do, but I just wanted you to get an idea of how this thing works, how it sounds. Of course, it sounds amazing. It is so much fun. It growls, it squelches, it burps, it bleeps. It covers all the bases if you're looking for that real classic acid type of sound, acid house, going back to bands or groups like 808 State and Future and Cybertron, and even indie bands like the Super Furry Animals. There's so many people have used the 303 throughout the years, and this right here is definitely a contender. It's not going to set you back. Gosh, I see 303s for $3,000, which is absolutely bonkers. And I mean, they're beautiful machines, but you could have a lot of these for what one of those 303s costs today. And this is right up there with it in every way. It growls, it sequences, it does a little bit more than the 303. So with that being said, I'm going to come back with another video incorporating the Nubass with the Volca drum, just so you get an idea of how they might sound together if you're working on new beats, new grooves, whatever you want to call it, new acid house jams. The sky's the limit. So with that being said, until next time, I am Chris Klein. You can subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so yet. We're also on the web, on YouTube with Alma Music TV, and we also have a piano and keyboard channel, which you can find in our channels on our main YouTube page. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you have any comments, ideas, critiques, if you want to see us cover something, please let us know in the comments below. You can also reach out to us via the information that's at the bottom of this video. We have a form. Our webpage is there. You can call us. You'll probably get me. We can talk shop. It's up to you. So let's end it here. Until next time, Chris Klein, Alma Music Center in San Antonio, and happy programming. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.